Hi there, I'm making a short video to demonstrate this sketch about parametric curves. So I want to think of a curve that I'll define with these two functions here. I've got x of t that controls the x value of the point and y of t which controls the y value of the point. And this is the point right here, this red point, and for different values of t, if x and y both exist, the red point is graphed, and the locus of all its locations makes this other curve. So I'm going to decide something to draw, and I just want to try to draw a triangle kind of like that. So I'll show you the thought process of how you would draw such a thing. So I'm looking at that red triangle, and I'll try to go from this bottom corner up to the top and then down along this longer edge here and then back to the starting point. And what I'm looking for is to isolate the x and the y values first. So with the x values, I need to figure out what the x values should be doing. So horizontally only, as I go from this point to this point, well, this point to there, and back, what do the x values do? For this first side, the x values really don't change. It's a mostly vertical corner edge of a triangle, and the corner up here to the corner down here, this vertex to that vertex, represents an increase, a pretty steady increase of the x values. So for the first two sides, the x values don't change much, and then they go up. And from here to here, the last side, the x values go down to the starting point. So our x pattern is pretty steady for a while, and then up, and then down. And the up is this horizontal distance, and the down direction for the final leg of the triangle is about the same distance as the increase in the x values. So I'm just going to use this as a notation here. For my y values, my curve starts right here, and my y values right away increase, and then they decrease about the same amount, and then for the last leg they don't really do anything. So the y values increase, and then they decrease, and then they don't do anything. So what does this look like for a curve? For the x curve, I'm looking for a curve that stays pretty steady and then increases and then decreases. And for the y curve, I'm looking for a curve that increases and then decreases and then stays pretty steady. So I'll try to construct such curves on this sketch, and the x values need to look about, they need to show that pattern that I came up with that says they should increase at first, and then they should decrease. And the y values over the same amount of time should increase, and then they should decrease, and then they should stay the same. And where this corresponds, we have to figure out where these should match up. Now the first part of it, while the x values were staying the same and the y values were increasing, that should correspond. And you see that in my curves up here it doesn't. So if I shift this, not that one, if I shift this over so that the increase in y corresponds to the steady unchanging behavior in x, and then I want the increase in x let's see, I want x to increase while y is decreasing. So the y decreasing behavior should happen while x is increasing. And as I'm doing this, I can see that the shape that I see over here is looking a lot more like the triangle I'm trying to imitate. And the final piece of the curve is to try to decrease the x value while y is staying pretty steady. And as I decrease the x value, I'm seeing that I'm getting pretty much what I wanted over there. Now I could adjust some, I could finely tune it a little bit, and one of the things I'm going to do is show you how I can shift the whole thing by collecting all of these points. And if I move all of the y values together, then the entire shape shifts together. Now I have to be careful. If I shift it horizontally, that changes the nature of the shape. So as I move this down, I could make it match up with the one I drew pretty well. If I collected the points that control the x function, and if I moved all of these to the right a little bit, then up a little bit, then the vertex would move to the right. If I move them down a little bit, then the locus would move to the right. If I move them down a little bit, the locus would move to the left. So I'll try to move them down a little bit, again being careful of the horizontal movement as it relates to the y values. And I could probably slowly and meticulously figure out how to make this more and more like the shape that I originally drew. So it's kind of a neat idea. I'm not sure what you could do with this, but enjoy.